You're not crazy. You're listening to Corporate Christie. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Corporate Christie, where we make sure your company doesn't accidentally suck behind your back because you're busy. Today we're going to be talking about your all hands, your town hall, your chum wagon get together, whatever your company calls it. But maybe instead of hosting an all hands at all, why don't you just light thousands of dollars on fire and call it a day? Because that's what most companies are doing without even realizing it. In the all hands, you pause everyone's salary for an hour just to sit and listen. And within 5 minutes, employees are quietly deciding, am I going to listen or am I going to secretly be shopping on Amazon? Your all hands is when everyone in the company is asking themselves, is this a company I still want to work for? Is this even a company that I respect? And it's not just about putting on a good meeting. Let's put a dollar sign on it. If you have 100 employees and the average salary is $80,000, every hour-long all hands is costing you $4,000. Just in paused salaries alone. And that's before you even account for the invisible costs, like missed information because people weren't paying attention, and a general sense of just, why are we doing this? Where was this? Who decided this? What was the decision? What's going on? Your all hands is a leadership moment. It's a chance to earn what I call engagement capital, the trust that makes them feel confident in themselves, in the executives, in each other. They want to be reminded of the mission and how they personally ladder up to the bigger picture. And when you lose that, you're not just losing their attention, you're losing productivity, retention, profit. Because Gallup found that companies with engaged employees are 23% more profitable. 23. Take your bottom line and add 23% to it. So today I'm going to break down why your all hands may or may not be working, because if your people aren't engaged while they're watching it, they're definitely not engaged in doing their best work. We're going to talk about what could be wrong, what you can do better, and how you're going to fix it. Let's just start with what bad looks like, because I got a lot of stories to pull from my past. And if you're guilty of any of these, don't panic. You're in very good company. The number one cardinal sin is executive ring around the Rosie. Marketing talks, then sales, then HR pops in to say happy birthday, then the engineering team talks about what they're building next. And these are all maybe tech company examples, but even if you have frontline employees, this is generally how it goes. It feels very templatized. It feels very forced. Each department just throws out their own little disjointed mini update. There's no clear story. There's no real thread. It's like executives, imagine them passing the mic and each of them saying one of these lines. Today I took a shower. Then I ate an apple. Then I called my friend Stacy. Then I went to bed. Okay, bye. It's like, what? Cool story. Oftentimes the slides are just packed with acronyms and screenshots of spreadsheets. And without context, all that data is just noise. Employees feel punched in the face with your huge executive spreadsheet that we don't have access to, and we shouldn't have to work overtime just to understand what the numbers mean and what you're trying to say. Then you've got the rambling speakers who go on forever, they drone, or they use buzzwords, and they talk like a weird corporate politician, and you're like, did they actually just say anything? You're saying things in all these fluffy ways, and you're really also at the same time not really saying anything. And when you present like this, employees zone out, and when they tune out long enough, eventually they'll leave your company for real, and that's expensive. And let's not also forget the last-minute scramble for slides. When your leader says, I need you to go get me all the numbers for this month, and it's like, bro, we got a dashboard for that. We should probably refer to it in our one-on-ones and in our team huddle too. Why do you not use this dashboard? Or worse, the marketing team gets asked to polish the slides at the last minute. And for me personally, this has happened. Big announcements get ruined. It pulls us away from our own actual work and creates frustration to our day-to-day because we now still have to go back and do our other projects that we didn't budget the time to go polish your slides. Everyone's just kind of fake smiling. If you're virtual, people are probably off camera. But I guarantee you most people are checking their email because they're overworked. There's too much going on. They're talking to each other. They're laughing about how silly this is or how out of touch the leadership team feels. Or they're taking care of personal stuff. That's what bad looks like, and that's what most of us are used to. Sadly, that's what a lot of companies do every month. Now, what does a good all hands look like? Let's talk about that. I promise it's not that complicated. It just takes intention and a little bit of, dare I say it, showmanship. Your all hands should be telling the story of your business. Where is it now? Where is it going? Why should I care? First and foremost, the CEO must own the narrative. No awkward handoffs. No delegating the tone. Executives can speak at certain times, but employees need to feel like the CEO actually has a handle on and has digested the content. When it's just, hey everyone, how are you? Okay, off to Jeff. It's like, well, wait, what do you think about all this? You can't just bookend saying hello and then saying goodbye. We do care about how is marketing doing and sales and support and product, but each team's update needs to answer 4 simple things. What's going well? What's not? What's changing because of it? And how does this tie back to our mission or how we treat our customers or what we're trying to solve for them? You want to mix in a lot of customer stories. You want to use real wins and real lessons learned. You can actually have a real customer come onto your all hands. I've seen Beekeeper do this really well. Have a real user of what you're selling come in and say, yeah, we've seen these improvements in our business because of your tool. Thank you. Employees love to zoom out from their own, maybe they're on the finance team or the marketing team or whatever. They love to zoom out and see that they're actually working for a company that's making real impact. Even the teams farthest away from the customers should feel connected to the why. And your slides, they should be very visual. They don't need to be text heavy. It is such a huge mistake to write out a bunch of sentences and then read them to us. We can read. Think TED Talk. Go watch a couple TED Talks. It's not a boring PowerPoint you're giving us an experience. It actually makes it easier. Instead of putting a bunch of bullets telling us what the next feature is and why we're building it and when it's shipping, just put a picture of an unopened present and build the anticipation and say, we're really excited to reveal the launch of our next feature. It's something our customers have been asking for and we've been so excited to build. We wanted to do it the right way. Like, build the anticipation and then just talk about it. The visuals are just meant to be something to help the words have more impact. They're not supposed to do the heavy lifting. And that's why TED Talks aren't allowed to have a bunch of buzzwordy, we are optimizing our support systems to increase the flow of throughput by 1%, whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. Don't do that. It doesn't make sense to us and it's making us work too hard. Just talk to us. But what you should basically be doing is taking what you're arguing with each other about in your executive team meetings and put it in a format that makes all of us feel compelled to go help you solve those problems and understand what are we trying to solve for? What are we trying to figure out? Read the slides to your employees and they will go shop on Amazon instead of listening to you. But here's a part that most leaders miss. Data isn't memorable. It's so boring. Nobody can listen to an hour talk about, we got this many leads and CAC is up by this, which, by the way, make sure you're always explaining certain acronyms. Not everybody knows what CAC is. Nobody likes to feel stupid. CAC is up 5%, which is how much it costs for us to get anyone to know about our business enough to get a demo. Like, always follow it with some kind of to the level of a 5th grader sentence. But data's not memorable. Stories are. The tool I recommend to all of my clients that I work with is Storyteller Tactics by a company called Pipdex. These are frameworks and prompts that help you tell stories around the data and the numbers that you're trying to present so that people find it memorable and actually get what you're trying to say to them. My favorite card in this deck that we use a lot is the Dragon in the City. It helps you answer 2 things. Who is your dragon and where is the opportunity? Because remember, dragons hoard gold. These cards are such a great exercise to think outside the box. How do we make this more compelling? So it helps you think through what are the threats or challenges we're going through right now? Where is the opportunity hiding? Here's an example recently that we used in real life. A competitor of theirs launched a new feature before they were able to bring it to market. It was one that this company also wanted to build. But the company that brought it to market first was flopping. Bad. They used this as a chance to say, although we weren't the first to do it, that's okay because we're looking at all this feedback from their customers and what's going wrong. And we were going to build something a little bit different anyway, but this is helping shape our offering to be a lot better and more solve the problem using a competitor's intel on their flop. Basically, we're building a version that solves the problem better. And that's exciting. Even though we weren't the first to market, we're going to actually solve the problem. So these cards get you to think like, how do we say this in a way that's more digestible? How do we make it more emotional? No matter what you're selling, employees want to feel like they're part of something that's important, that's solving real problems. And these cards help you get there. With stories like these, they're going to get emotionally connected to what's going on in the business, and they're going to care a lot more about how it's going in the next all hands. They stop feeling like passive spectators and start feeling like they're part of the actual strategy. Your employees don't just want to feel informed, they want to feel seen. Every all hands should include some kind of peer-to-peer recognition tied to a company value, birthdays and work anniversaries, and personalized moments of gratitude. Whenever possible, say how many years someone's worked at the company, not just that they're having an anniversary. Make it a little more special. Your new hires should be introduced by their manager. Don't ever say, we've got a new person on the team, and Jeff, will you tell us a little bit about yourself? That sets them up for a bad first impression, and they're going to be very embarrassed. They're going to be like, oh God, hi, I'm Jeff. Have their manager say what kind of experience they're bringing, because the manager should know, why they're so excited for them to be working at the company, and why they're such a good fit, because the manager should know, and what kind of projects they'll be working on that the company is really in need of, because the manager should know. You're always also going to want to include a question and answer section of every all hands, because it's the chance to get the beef out early. That stuff is super important. A week before the all hands, send out a form. Use Google Forms. Keep it simple. Say, what questions do you have? What's keeping you up at night about the business? Or what's top of mind for you right now? And what do you want us to address in the all hands? Always collect questions ahead of time. It's not often that people are brave enough to actually put their face and speak into a microphone in front of everyone and be like, hey, our benefits kind of suck. Can we talk about it? And they'll talk about it on company time behind your back if you don't get that stuff out. So anonymously, ahead of time, ask people, what do you want to talk about? Then the HR person should bucket all the responses depending on how many employees you have. Maybe there's some redundancy, but you must answer every question. Bucket the common themes, like I said, if there's like a ton of employees, but the HR person should spend time with the CEO ahead of time to figure out the best people first answers. Even if the answer is no to something, explain why. But don't say like, oh, why are you asking for this? Or like, we're doing the best we can. Always put a people first lens, because most people just want to feel heard. Hey, we heard you that benefits are getting more expensive. Thank you for telling us. We have to imagine that's super stressful for your families. You're not going to drive disengagement because you're talking about the drama, because I guarantee you people are already talking about it. So the fact that you're addressing it shows real leadership and ownership. And if the answer is no, walk everyone through, hey, this is what it looks like for us to pay for benefits as a business. And unfortunately, right now, at this stage of growth, we can't afford to add these things to our benefits arsenal. But as the company continues to scale, we will be able to reinvest the revenue that we make into the employee experience. So as the business grows, we will be able to continue to give you better, newer, and better types of benefits, you know? Instead of like, it just is what it is, people. Okay, get over it. I've seen CEOs do that, and I'm like, ooh, dude, missed opportunity. Employees don't need perfection. They just want honesty. They want some radical candor. They want to keep it real. Talk about the thing. That's okay. That's a good thing. That means they trust you. Even if it's anonymous, they still want to ask. And if they're asking for things to be improved, that means they still want to work there. So don't ever let an executive tell you, or if you're an executive, don't ever be scared of negative anonymous questions. Address it head on so employees aren't hashing it out behind your back, because that will drive disengagement through the floor. And that's bad for business. One quick note on your cadence and your timing, because this is where a lot of companies overdo it. You don't need an all hands every month. If your sales cycle isn't closed or there's nothing meaningful to update, wait. Maybe every other month is a Slack update with a video from the CEO telling everyone generally, here's Here's what's going on in the business. Here's what it means. Here's how we feel about it. Here's why this matters to you. And then save your all hands to be a real performance of keeping everyone informed in a way that is easy to pay attention to, because enough time has passed that there's actual updates to give that are compelling. The only caveat to this is if you're going through kind of a layoff situation, you might want to have more frequent all hands because people are going to have their feelings. Those types of all hands are very emotional and you have to stay with your employees. But most cases, it's not good to just do it on every first Tuesday of the month because that's just what you do. If this sales cycle isn't closed, you're giving a half update. It's like, we might hit our metrics, but we're not sure. Find out next month if we actually did. It's like, why don't we just wait till it's over in like 2 more days? So why does all of this matter? Your all hands isn't just a meeting. It's how you align your teams and get your employees to care. It's how you get everyone to contribute at their highest level. And when you get this right, your employees stay engaged. When you fold in customer stories, your non-customer facing teams remember there's a bigger mission that's being solved, and you're not just the finance guy, or you're not just the campaign manager for marketing. You are the very first touch point to get people to have a solution that solves real problems. Employees who are engaged at your all hands are engaged in the day-to-day. They stay longer, they become your company's best advocates, and your bottom line will start to reflect it. Now, remember those thousands of dollars we talked about at the start, how expensive this meeting is. If you're pausing that much of everyone's salary for 1 hour, you owe it to yourself to find out if what you're doing is even working. Because what I just gave you were just some best practices. I can't tell you, do exactly this, because only your employees can tell you that. At the end of every all hands, just send a simple survey. Ask employees, what did you think was confusing? What did you want to see more of next time? Was this helpful? Was this the best time for you? That's it. Don't guess. Don't overthink it. Just ask the people who it's for, how it's going. But it's not a bad thing. It's literally the answers to how you're going to grow your business. It's a healthy two-way conversation between your revenue drivers and you, the gatekeeper of the vision and the strategy. And when you do this well, you're going to have a highly functional organization that is getting better every all hands. Okay? Just no more executive ring around the Rosie. It's awkward, okay? It's so clunky. If you want help turning your all hands into a session that your people actually look forward to and one that drives real business results, then send me a message on LinkedIn. I would love to help. One of the first things I do when someone comes to me in distress, whether it's a founder or a head of HR or the head honchos, like, I've seen your content. It's time. I'm like, great. When's your next all hands? I need to see how you're coming across to your people because this is a big, easy opportunity to get things back on track really quick. Life's too short for a boring all hands, okay? Drink water, be nice to yourself, be nice to other people, and I'll talk to you soon.